Good morning, student. I hope everyone is doing good. Once again, I am back with new topics. As you can see, my backside, the recent news today, according to our plan, today's topics are on the basis of economy. But still, we are doing this topic because this is very in the news and this is a very important topic for us as a citizen of India and as a student of UPSC. We need what is going on in our surrounding. As Martin Luther Jr. King said, injustice anywhere is threat to justice everywhere. Similarly, we have seen what exactly happened in 2021 in Sri Lanka, then Bangladesh, and 2000 in Myanmar, and then once again in Nepal. So why this thing is happening? And we are very blessed in South Asia. We are the only democracy which is thriving, not only thriving, it is rising. The reason I have taken this topic, despite the economy subject, is how the surroundings democracy, neighbors democracy are failing and how we are progressing. If you see in our west, Pakistan, everyone knows everyone knows what is the situation of Pakistan, ruled by the military. Their prime minister is powerless. Similar to the case with Bangladesh 2024 revolt. And this is the sequence. If you see the sequence, and this is one reminder for as a citizen for all of us, and being a student of UPSC aspirant, being a student of UPSC, you should know that how surrounding development are important for us. This is not only the issue of Nepal, what is happening in the Nepal. This is a broader waves in the South Asia. We have experienced in the Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and now in Nepal. So, what are the reasons? And despite these odds, on the contrary, other hand, if you see, India is rising. What are the factors for this rising? We are going to discuss this. This is for the GS4 also and GS1, GS2 also. Okay. So first of all, let me start with overall broader aspect of why India is thriving. The first and primemost reason is we, the people of India. If you see Bangladesh, Nepal, Myanmar, and Sri Lanka, even though constitution was there, but the citizenry awareness and citizenry role in the decision making, the participation, that was limited, and that led to chaos, and that led to the regime change, that led to the toppling of the regime, changing the government. But in our case, the constitution, the fundamental document of India's future. I would say, the fundamental document of India's future and India's modernity. Some scholar you mostly say that social revolution, political revolution, and economic revolution that start with this word only. If you see the constitution, the first line start with the preamble and then the we the people of India. So we the people of India who have developed this idea of oneness. Despite the diversity, we have unity. This is the first reason. Second reason, political leadership. Second reason is our across the party line. I am not talking about particular party. Being a citizen of India, neutrally I am talking about the all parties across the party line. In India, the leadership is always with political leader, and the maturity of political system in India is far ahead than other South Asian countries. If you see the Pakistan, in Pakistan, most of the time, I would say in last 30 to 40 years, Pakistan is ruled by military coup. So but in case of India, most of the decisions are taken by, even the success of Operation Sindhu, led by the India's defense minister, not the army or armed forces. So this is a political maturity and the political leadership. Third one, the factor is Indianness of Indian citizens. This is different from we the people of India. Why this is Indianness of Indian citizens? This means that whatever the happenings, whatever the political discourses, whatever the economic discourses, if you see, go to the Kanyakumari, if you go to the Jammu Kashmir, there is a wave and there is a feeling of Indianness. So this is the reason. But if you see the Pakistan, there is feeling of like Balochistan is demanding for the separate a separate Balochistan country. Then the Pakistan, even in Pakistan, Punjab, Pakistan is demanding some separate autonomy. And most of the time we talk about the Pakistan, but in the same case, the Myanmar, Rohingya crisis, Rakhine state. If you are aware about the Rakhine state, why all these things are helpful for India, and because of these things, India is rising power. India is become a pole. That's why our external affairs minister wrote the very good book, that is India's way. This is the qualities we have as a democracy. That's why our democracy is more successful to the other South Asian countries' democracy. Okay, now on this foundation, I will tell you what exactly the triggering mechanism that led to the fall of okay, that led to the fall of Nepal government. Okay, so this is the all papers today they have covered the this is anarchy in Kathmandu, PM resigns. And if you see the videos are very disturbing. Someone is beating their finance minister, someone, even the home ministers homes are burned by the protesters. See, any kind of violence is against the constitutional principles, and any kind of violence is not at all acceptable. But the level of suppression, the level of oppression in the Nepal, similar the case with the Bangladesh, that led to the so-called bust, and that bust led to this kind of situation in the Nepal. So I have discussed the many things, particularly the why India is stable and why Nepal is not stable. So this is the just news. Why in the news? This is the we have already discussed. Now come to the triggering cause. The triggering cause was social media ban, so-called Gen Z generation. 40% of Nepal's population is 30 to 40 years age group. So just imagine Nepal, a constitutional democracy established in 2006, 40% population is Gen Z. This was just one triggering point, but undercourse was the deep failure of the Nepal as a state. Why deep state? I will tell you the nepotism. Here only we have mentioned the nepotism, economic inequalities, violent government response. Okay, around 90 protesters killed two days back during the protester. So that led to the trigger, and that trigger is not only because of the social ban, but the nepotism, corruption, and favoritism. If you see, there was an undercourse in the Nepal society that they see the people, those who are in the power, their children are sitting abroad, they are studying abroad, going abroad, putting the YouTube videos on the social media and showing the inequalities in the common citizen of Nepal. They are the sufferers since 2006. The constitutional monarchy, when constitutional democracy established in Nepal in 2006, but the democracy itself in Nepal had some very different story. In short, I will tell you, in 2001 there was thinking that we will move to the monarchy, and there was mass massacre. The royal family, only one person in the royal family, they killed royal family's 5 members, and he himself committed the suicide. So since 2001 to 2007, the king family's one of the member was ruling, but there during his rule he dissolved the parliament and he took full control. Once again the protest started, and in 2007-8 there was constitutional democracy, secular democratic republic of Nepal, that was established in 2007-8. But what happened, see, if you see this last 17 years period, 2007 to 8 to 2025, including the yesterday's government fall, around in 17 years there are 15 government. this is the state of instability in Nepal. So this is obviously that why these protests are, and now the people are demanding the change in the reform, the so-called the new revolution in the Nepal, because within the 17 years, 15 governments, and the same period as compared to India, if you see, in our case, we have very stable government. Actually, the people have given mandate to the majority government, majority power 2014, 2019, and 2024. Once again, the politics of coalition has come into power. But my point is this is the level of instability in the Nepal and the level of stability in India. Okay, but everything is done. Now the key events is happening. I have already. What exactly? This is just some images how students are protesting Gen Z, so-called Gen Z movement. Now important point is something is happening in Nepal or something happening. Does it matter for India? If you see, you are staying in the one apartment, and what is happening in the next apartment, generally we tend to think that "Arey, that is not going to hamper me, that is not going to hamper me." But if you sit and think what is happening in your neighborhood, that will definitely hamper you as an individual and country as like same. Individual and country is not a different thing. So both the cases, the impact is there. Even the Kautalya also said that the our neighbors are primary engagement. We have to engage with neighbors. So this is the thing. That's why Nepal matters for India. So these are the point. First and foremost, we have in the since 1950 there is one, whereas that is roti beti relationship. Roti beti relationship. And if you see in our exams, except IAS, IPS, IFS, other services are allowed for the Nepal citizen. If you see in the UPSC notification, there is a citizen of India, citizen of Nepal, and citizen of Bhutan. So in UPSC also, we have provided them opportunity. So what is happening in Nepal is definitely have multifaceted impact on India's interest. So India has to engage with Nepal. But what will be the impact? Why Nepal matters for us? First is roti beti. Second one, even trade, economy, so security, connectivity, even the same point I have mentioned the here also, border security. If borders are stable, we can be grow together. Why? Because whatever we are spending on the border, if you see the development of France and Germany post World War II, they both grow together and they both are developed countries, one of the top economies. Similarly, if our borders are safe, we can spend that money on the economic development, we can spend that money on the education, health. Same case with the America and Canada. But if borders are unstable, we have to give unnecessary, we have to spend unnecessary money on borders to protect our interests. So first is border. The second one is even China factor is there. China factor is there. I will discuss this China factor later. But the one of the factor is border security issue. Second one, trade, economy, and connectivity. We have land ports are across the Nepal border. Then the cultural ties are there, and apart from this, the trade, commutation, everything is going to hamper because of instability in the Nepal. The next is regional domain. If you go to the regional level, if you see, China is already deeply engaging with Nepal, and this is not good sign for India, because China, the dragon, always want to undermine the India's interest. So China and India is competing to favor Nepal towards us, and our policy is simple. We will follow the policy of Vasudev Kutumbakam. We will help when they will ask. We will not intervene directly without their permission, as like USA did in Afghanistan, Iraq. Okay, so these are the issues where exactly Nepal matters for India, from the economy to culture, from history to security, infiltration to Then this regional connectivity. Okay, these are the where India is. And one more thing is hydropower cooperation. And recently might be the border dispute of 2021. Nepal published their new map, the agreement of 1816, Sanguli Treaty. There was border dispute of the Kali River. So all this come that led India has to engage with its neighborhood. That is the case of Bangladesh or in case of Nepal. So Nepal matters for us. So this much is engagement with our neighbors. Then what are the options for India? What are the options India can do in the short run or in the long run? My means we are going to discuss, but my point is this: if we have to engage with neighbors, then we have set up very good template. The template which we followed in the Myanmar case, we followed in the Bangladesh case, and we followed in the case of Sri Lanka also. And same template as even the scholar like Shriram Choli also said that India is a country with a big country with big heart and patience diplomacy, quiet diplomacy. Even the Maldives once upon a time, and whatever the surroundings happening in the our neighbors, India have followed one very good policy of IK Gujral's principle. What is that principle? Non-reciprocity, calm response, humanitarian aid. In case of Bangladesh, we support in 1971 East Pakistan needed help. We supported East Pakistan. Similarly, when Myanmar needed, we engage with Myanmar. When Sri Lanka needed, we were the first responder. We provided 4 billion aid to Sri Lanka. Similarly, the Bangladesh 2024, despite having this much violence, atrocities against the minorities, we as a our official stand was to engage and deeply engage. Even if you see the recent Donald Trump's tariff, we are engaging with USA. When 2 days back, when American president said that India is a good friend, our prime minister, with wholeheartedly within a 1 or 2 hours, tweeted that yes, we are good friend and we respect that despite having this much divergence, despite having the America's oppressive policy towards India, we are engaging. So first option, what will be the first option? To engage with Nepal. But who is the leading authority in Nepal? Now there is not a clear picture, but there are certain ways where in short run and long run, India can manage its relationship with Nepal. The first is short run. What India can do in short run? Diplomatic engagement. Yesterday, Indian External Affairs Ministry have asked both the parties in the army also and those who are protesters also discuss, because discussion and dialogue is prerequisite for any resolution. You have seen in what is happening in the Gaza and Israel. Despite after 2.5 years, without discussion and dialogue, there is no solution. War is at all not solution. War is just last resort, one mean to achieve the solution. But war is at all not a solution. Remember this thing: war is not an end. War is just a mean to achieve certain things. So our policy as a India, we are continuously engaging with the people. We are engaging with those who are stakeholders, all the stakeholders, and that policy help India to emerge as a responsible power, unlike the so-called hegemonic power of USA. Okay, so this is are the short-term ways what India can do. That is humanitarian and diplomatic engagement. Yesterday only we asked both parties to restrain the calmness and sit and dialogue, because discussion and dialogue then lead to the decision, and decision leads to the democracy. Okay, then India have very strong trade ties with Nepal. Around India, Nepal is second largest partner. India is largest trading partner of Nepal. You have to remember this. So Nepal authority also concerned about the India's interest. And yes, that's why in the morning only, if you see the news, Nepal's army finally entered into the picture, and Nepal's army has asked the protester to sit for the dialogue. But for India, India is not going to intervene unless asked. If you see the USA's policy or any other country's policy, particularly I'm talking about the USA, because USA as a hegemonic power always intervene without the permission or without the request. But we as a responsible power, India yesterday also mentioned that we are supporting the discussion and dialogue, and we are not going to enter into any picture. We are following the policy of wholeheartedness, calm diplomacy. So this is diplomatic engagement. At the trade and humanitarian support, we can provide, as we have done in the Bangladesh case, as we have done in the Sri Lanka case. When Sri Lanka was needed, we provided them the ambulance, we provided them fertilizers, and even so when they required, we have developed their ports also. Our investment is there in the Hambantota port. So this is the thing. I think Colombo port or Hambantota, I'm not exactly sure, but we have invested in their connectivity also. But first, they should ask. Our policy is to, we are not going to violate any country's sovereignty and any country's independent policy making, because as we are also following the strategic autonomy policy. Okay, then the security cooperation, we can build up the security cooperation. Now that will be the short term. Now come to the long run, what India can do to build a good Nepal, and the Nepal, stable Nepal, democratic Nepal, that will help India to build a very good strong regional power image. Okay, so what we can do, first we can invest in Nepal as we have done in Afghanistan. In last 20 years, if you see, most of the Afghans, they appreciate India's efforts. They are building their Salma Dam, building the Afghanistan parliament. Even in the despite the Taliban rule, we have provided humanitarian assistance during the earthquake in 2022. Similarly, we can do with the China, sorry, with Nepal, because the same approach we can implement, and we have using this yardstick with our neighbors, and this is helping. In Maldives, if you see, despite the Maldives efforts, we provided this humanitarian aid. Even the recently inauguration of the parliament, this defense ministry's building, that was supported by India. Similarly, in long run, India can invest in infrastructure development fund. Then India can promote its economic partnership like trade, FDI, then the connectivity. So economic dimension also, in long run, India can invest, because stable neighbors are the prerequisite for India as a rising power. If you see all developed countries, I would say even Russia is hard power. USA, geography matters a lot. In USA, Canada is there. Is there any country surrounded by USA which is unstable? No. That's why USA is one of the factor. USA is called as world police. Similarly, the case of Russia. Take the example of France and our colonizers, UK. If you see, all these countries are developed because their neighbors, their surroundings are stable. Similarly, to make Nepal stable, India can invest in infrastructure, India can invest in the having increase in the strength in the economic ties, and already, if we all know, the cultural ties are paramount for us, because the Buddhas, Kosambi, and all other side, Kushinagar, everything is, we have very long relationship with Nepal, historical ties. So that will be the our engagement with long-term engagement with Nepal. Okay, so these are the options for India to engage with Nepal. But as I said, it's all about the Nepal citizens and those who are the young leaders, those who are genuinely feel for their countries, and they should rise above their petty interests and work for the secular democratic Nepal. As we have seen in our case, the first generation leaders from the first generation since 1950 to 2025, this journey of around 8 years marked by the strong political leadership and across the party line. So for the Nepal to become a good, stable democratic country, what matters, that is people trust, people engagement, and strong national leadership. If leadership is strong, as we can see in the our case, then it is definitely make country a global power. So if Nepal want, we will help. India is already show the interest to helping the Nepal, but it's reform, and the now this is very crucial juncture for Nepal to transform its so-called deliberated system into a strong, stable democracy through a good constitution, which will take care of all the sections of society. Okay, so this is for the today's topic, Nepal. and India, how Nepal matters for India, and what are the options for India to make India's neighborhood stable. Okay, so this is conclusion. Now we will come to back to our domestic politics. Today's is our economy, so we are going to cover some economic topics. And what are these topics? The first, in mains UPSC syllabus, if you see the economy, there are 4 to 5 points in GS3. But there is, as I already said, one study approach. There is no compartmentalization of any. UPSC can ask any topics, mineral energy, GPS in the GS1 2025, and similarly the energy security in 2000, energy security in the GS3. Okay, so this is the thing. Today's topic is India's infrastructure revolution. Now, tell me, what does this include? Today I just want to I just wanted to discuss certain points ki how we can develop the 10 to 12 points for the mains writing. If you see any of the UPSC question, there is one big heavy word, I would say. Infrastructure is heavy word. This includes two types of infrastructure: digital, physical. In physical, if you see airways, road transportation, airways, road, in this also road transportation, portways, urban infrastructure, then energy. Apart from this, the border security, border infrastructure. So these are the, and in digital also, you can think data security. Digital India mission is the best example for the infrastructure. Then Aadhaar, Jam Trinity, as we know. So just think how many points I have generated from year, port. In port also there are three kinds of port: land port, airport, and seaport. You should understood this kind of things while writing the answer, because whatever topics we have taken, that topics are very important. And I have shown you the in last my first lecture that how exactly questions are coming. Generally we tend to follow the newspaper, generally we tend to follow the this news, that news, but my simple suggestion to you guys is to follow the official sources. It means that PIB, All India Radio, and ministry's annual report. Okay, so I have taken this topic from the PIB. This is India's infrastructure development revolution in India. Why exactly this topic? This is a very, I would say it is very not that much old news, but the topic is this: our Prime Minister, while the mentioning in his Independence Day speech, mentioned about the infrastructure revolution in India. So what kind of infrastructure revolution came in India? We are going to this, what kind of revolution. If you see capex 10 lakh crore, trains, economy, airport, highways, waterways. These are the revolutions and part of infrastructure development. We will go why this is happening, because of this kind of policies. So first policy is, what is Amrut and Amrut Mission 2.0? What exactly this mission? In simple language, I will say this mission is comprehensive urban development plan. Urban development, urban, it includes the development of housing, it includes the transportation, it includes the free free environment, free from the air pollution, free from the water pollution. So this is the development. Now smart cities also related to urban development. Now this is very important. I just want to point, national plan for multilateral integrated, this 7 core sectors. This is very revolutionary in terms of the comprehensive. Yesterday, I taught you guys about whole of government approach, and this PM Gati Shakti is the classical example of how the Ministry of Waterways can align with Ministry of Roadways and develop a very good infrastructure along the coastal lines. This is one of the example how whole government approach works. But this is a thing PM Gati Shakti has led to infrastructure revolution in India. This is the third point. If you see, I have mentioned certain data, and these are the very, see, Chenab Bridge. Recently, the 17 years it took, 17 years took to complete the Chenab Bridge, world's highest by height bridge. Okay, so this is Chenab Bridge, Anjani Bridge, even though Pamban Bridge recently our honorable Prime Minister has inaugurated. So my point is this: whatever these things are happening, use these things for your example to justify your points. Infrastructure development is happening, railway development is happening, but how you have to able to justify Vande Bharat trains in India? Around at present there are 100 plus Vande Bharat trains are running. The second thing, metro expansion, metro network, if you are aware about, there are around 1000 plus kilometer metro networks are expanded across the 24 cities of India. This is data from the PIB. If you go to the PIB, you will get to know that. But you have to justify your answer by putting this data. That's why most of the students felt that GS3 is very difficult. We are not able to remember the points. We are not able to think the point. My point is this: whatever the things are going, my point is this. Just a minute. One student are asking something. So let's come to one student have asked that out. He's have some suggestions, so he is explaining. But let's come back to our infrastructure development. So infrastructure development are the these things. Okay. Now we are going to next thing, that is, and I have mentioned the railway, road, waterways. Waterways, as we all know, the things are this. Most of the time what happens, we have around 11 waterways. But what exactly the development from the on Ganga river, Brahmaputra river? So waterways can be a potential channel, and that has expanded in the last decade, that has expanded. So this is one of the pillar of infrastructure revolution. If question comes, India is rising in the infrastructure, justify. So how we can justify? We can justify through these points. Despite having this much thing, what exactly this development? But is there anything which remains hurdling the India's infrastructure development? So yes, there are points where India is still lagging behind comparative to China. If you think about the logistic cost, then the land acquisition, the project delay, implementation. So now we will move forward towards our next point, that is, there's all these airports and everything. I have discussed this. What are the challenges? Okay, so issues of infrastructure development in India. What are these issues? Issues are not comprehensive. Issues is also considered many points. Even financial level, investment level, the implementation level. So micro level, if you break, you can able to understand what are the issues, and you can able to generate many. At the end of the day, what matters for us, we should be able to end up writing 10, 12 points in the 10 marker and 15 to 16 point in the 15 marker. But how we can write? So divide this issue. Issue is a broader. If you take the sectoral approach, railway have their different issues, road have some different issues, but there are certain common issues also. So what are these common issues? We can say financial and investment issues, low public and private investment. See, this is India need this amount of investment in urban infrastructure in the next 15 years. Okay, the current spending is just 1% of GDP. These are the data. Technically, the spending in whatever the investment of the public finances, they are little bit comparatively less as per the requirement. Okay, okay. The requirement is very high, but the demand, the way we are investing, that is very low. Even though in public, by public also, or by the government, private sector also. The second, stress balance, non-performing asset infrastructure picked up. This is the bit old data, but this has reduced to 13% to 2.3% around. This is in 2024 to 2023. Okay, so this has reduced, but this is old data. But still, 2.3% is also far higher. double twin balance sheet problem. Then the next one is implementation level, land acquisition. This is the biggest issue. Why this is the biggest issue? Most of the project are implemented by union government and land is a state subject. Okay, so union government and union ministries has to engage with has to engage with state government, and here we have to show the cooperative federalism. But what is happening exactly? According to the Ministry of Statistics and Programming, around 24 months are required to acquire just land. This is the time exactly we are talking. 24 months are very delayed. Land acquisition is a very big. Jaitapur project, nuclear power project, still hampering because of this land acquisition. If you see the highway project, the many projects in the Uttar Pradesh, why this is happening? Because delay. According to the ministry, this is not my data. According to the ministry, the land acquisition is the biggest issue, one of the biggest issues. The second one, logistic cost, logistic coordinate, even the multi-agency 34% logistic costs. This is India's logistic cost. If China is spending 6 to 7% on logistic, but India's cost is this much, this has reduced of percent GDP. See, can you imagine? We are spending 1% on infrastructure and 13% on just logistic management. So this is the thing we have to now come to the quality of infrastructure, sustainability of infrastructure, and the last one is the social dimension of infrastructure. If any in border areas we are developing any project, we are constructing any project, we have to take care of there. The best example is Siang project in Arunachal Pradesh. This project is very good strategic project. I would say it is very in the national interest, but this project is happening there, hampering Adi community of Arunachal Pradesh. So we have to take care of this kind of dimensions, even the Adi community or any community scheduled areas. And most of the, if you see mines in Odisha and Jharkhand, all these mines are located in the tribal belt and scheduled areas. If you know the scheduled area, schedule 5, and here issue arises the so-called social concern. And we know in Bihar generally we think most of the time we have read in the newspaper ki pool is constructed within a 6 to 7 months and it was broken down within the next year. That is the situation of infrastructure quality in particular state. Or in case of, we have to work on this. We have to work on this to build, because in infrastructure is a connectivity. It acts as a bridge for the economic development, for the political stability, and for the social revolution. We are emerging economy. We want to develop India by 2047. So these concerns need to be addressed. So what and how we can address these concerns? These are the concerns, environmental concerns, as we know. How we can address these concerns? Provide them financier. This is the sources which will help you to improve your answers, and will this is kind of the value addition also for you guys. Okay, so this is the thing. Kelkar committee recommended the advocate PPP model. Okay, this is the one of the financial investment supported by now governance and implementation level issue. What we can do, we can do best option is government has come up with the PM Gati Shakti project, and that is very comprehensive project. Just have some coordination with the different ministries. That will help you guys to build your own, build your, that means build our own infrastructure, not only our, whatever the government is building, that is for us only. So as a citizen also can give suggestion. Even at a ministerial level the coordination should be there. Ministries can take expertise opinion from the private members also. So this thing should be done at a ground level. Okay, implementation level, quality, sustainability, what we can, this was suggested by the Vivek Devroy committee in railway reforms in commercial format. Okay, Niti Aayog come up with this PM Gati Shakti, target has reduced. Okay. These things we have discussed around how we can manage these social issues and everything. Finally, the conclusion, what the conclusion, infrastructure revolution is not limited to road and infra, but it extended to the across the urban renewable, clean energy and digital governance. So infrastructure can act as a bridge at a present. We are developing country 2025. Infrastructure act as a catalyst bridge to India become a developed country. Okay, so this is the importance of infrastructure. Okay, now we are moving towards what kind of question in prelims UPSC will ask. We have to finally come to the pragmatism. The pragmatism is this thing. We have to deal with questions in prelims. Most of the times UPSC has asked question in infrastructure, has specifically mentioned in the mains UPSC GS 3 syllabus. So for the mains perspective, this is a very important topic. In prelims, question will come probably on the scheme. And 2021 UPSC has asked one question, what exactly the thing. So this is one question framed on the same level, national logistic policy. It aims to reduce the logistic cost in India with this particular things. Okay, you can read this. It seeks to improve India's ranking in the World Bank's Logistic Performance Index to top 25 by 2023. The Unified Logistic Interface Platform under the NLP focuses on the integrating the digital system for the logistic and efficiency. Okay, so this kind of new pattern answer is already given here. You can go through this question. Now we are moving towards mains question. This is important. India's infrastructure development has moved from being a bottleneck to becoming a launching for growth, yet challenges of financing, governance, and sustainability remain critically analyzed, examined. So you can start. I am providing you approach intro, provide some data of infrastructure development. Then launchpad for the growth. You can mention development in various sectors. This will be your body part. Okay. Now, yet challenges of financing. You have to justify what are the challenges in finances, then what are the challenges in the governance, and what are the challenges in the sustainability, environmental concern, the border issue, and just mention one or two examples if possible, if you are able to remember. So these are the challenges. Okay. Now, infrastructure is done. There is another sector where we need to work, and we has been working on this sector, that is blue waves of progress. Why in the news? Today is date 10th September 2025. On this date, exactly 5 years back, we came up with exact programming. The thing is this. We came up with programming, that is Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, we launched, Government of India launched on the 10th of September 2020, and it has reached 5 years anniversary, birth anniversary of Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. So we are going to discuss what exactly this scheme has contributed in the fishery sector of India. Fishery sector is comes under GS3, agriculture. In agriculture, fisheries. In agriculture, there are two types: farm and non-farm. Okay, and in 2025, UPSC has asked the question on what are the non-farm activities, non-farm primary activities. Okay, that's why this sector is very, very important. We are actually first we will go through what exactly the thing about the particularly fishery sector contributes to India. India is largest global position. India is third largest fishery producer country in the world. So now you can realize the importance of fishery sector in India's economic growth. The second one is economic role, 1.25% of India's GDP. The next one is around 3 crore people directly and indirectly production level. This is the production level. The export include, and we have the MPED, Marine Export Production Authority under the Ministry of Commerce and Industries. Okay, so overall, this by seeing this, we can realize the potential of India's fishery sector to revolutionize the India's agriculture sector as a whole. Okay, now once again we will come to the our scheme, because we are our main heading is fishery sector. In that one scheme is there the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. So we have discussed the when Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana with the objective of the overall comprehensive whole development of the fishery sector in India. That is the primary objective of Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. Okay, it has completed 5 years today. So how this scheme contributing, these are the objective we can discuss how this thing contributing for the development of the fishery sector. Under this scheme there are certain initiatives taken by the government of India to boost implement the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. What are these initiatives? The first initiative is empowering this thing. Significance is the woman contribution around this many numbers women are beneficiaries. Then the climate resilient coastal fishermen, this is the 100 villages development. Okay, the next one is biofloc and RS, this is a recirculating aquaculture system. And biofloc, bio means the microorganisms and flock is kind of, see, I have one diagram in this next PDF. I will show you next PPT. But the biofloc is just providing from the waste to provide the feed to the fisheries. So biofloc and RS technology. The post-harvest infrastructure, these are the data which explain how these things, this scheme is contributing to the overall development of the fishery sector in India. Okay, now there are other schemes also where we have discussed the, just a minute. Okay, so significance of this scheme is infrastructure development, supporting to the farm fishery farmers, not the agriculture farmers but fishery farmers. Okay, these are the things from the woman development to biofloc technology, this post-harvest infrastructure, fisheries cooperative, FPOs, and Pradhan Mantri Matsya Krishi Sampada NDPS portal. This was a benefit from financial assistance to women development to creating the physical infrastructure to providing the new and innovative technology, connecting the scientific community in the fishery sector to the fishery farmers. These were the objectives of Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana that has around achieved across the market. The beneficiaries of 50 target was 55 lakh, but the exact is 58 lakh fishery farmers are getting benefit of this thing. Okay, so this is the level of the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana is helping to build a very good fishery infrastructure. Okay, despite having this much achievement, there are the issues in fishery sector which we have to address. The particularly the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana has contributed lot to elevate the issues of fishery sector, but still certain issues are persist. That issues we can develop in three levels: fishery farmer level, fishery business level, and government bottlenecks. Okay, so these are the things. Let me show you the PDF exactly issues. High cost margin. Just think that a small fishery farmer is collecting his fishes, he is harvesting everything, and he don't have the facility, or he don't have the storage facility provided by the government, or his own, to preserve that fishes. So does it will help him or her to get the benefit of that thing? No. So this is first is high cost low margin, because they are gathering the fishes and they are distributing it, because there is no immediate storage facility for them. This is the first reason. That's why even the contribution cost, the cost of collection is very high, and the margin is very less. This is the first thing. The second one is disease, and we know fishery is deteriorable product, and fish is most of the time they will get deteriorated if the sufficient amount of moisture, sufficient amount of the preservation is not provided to them, they are going to deteriorate. So, and despite this much vulnerability, there is very lack of facility, or very less opportunities for fishery farmer to get that benefit. So farmer level, these are the issues. Even if you see the farmer communities, this is our coastal line. Communities in Tamil Nadu and Kerala, they danger their life and go to the international waters. And here, Sri Lankan Navy always try to catch. In one case, if you know, here in the Gujarat, yesterday only we have seen the one news. India has released some fishery farmers of Pakistan. But the thing is this: the vulnerable, they are risking their life, but this makes them vulnerable to international trade dispute and the international issue. But this, because of the limitations, because of their low income and the kind of the fishery available in the near surrounding areas, they have to venture out the in international borders. So this is the at a farmer level issues. Okay, these are the governmental level issues. What are the governmental level? Catch wastage due to poor storage facility, cold chain. But this is the one or two issues I have mentioned here, policy delays. But the important issue, I want to make it out, the implementation level, government, most of the policies, they are on the paper, but at the ground level, implementation is negligible, because implementing authorities sometimes don't take care of the responsibilities, and this led to the diffusion of responsibility. And once that this lead to diffusion of responsibility, this finally end up with the policy crisis. So these are the government level issues. Now, biz- okay, farmers, fishery farmers, they have gathered all their fish and everything. If the market is not suitable where they can sell their product, market either will be the further processing, domestic market, or for the export. But in this also, if you see, most of the time what is happening, processing, very 1 or 2% processing in India is happening, particularly the farms, fishery sector. Then the domestic market, we have the, if you see, we have the culture of the, most of the time we eat the non-veg, but still we have the culture of vegetarianism, veg, non-veg. So this is also restricting domestic demand. And now export. Come to, if we talk about the export, EU, European Union, Japan. Japan is the largest producer, and Japan used to sell the most. But still, we say our export our product to fishery product to the developed countries, EU bloc, and they have the so-called artificial or technical barriers, non-trade barriers, technical phytosanitary barriers. They will restrict because of their quality, because they will say that this quality issue is there, so we are not going to purchase it. And apparently the batches they rejected. In 2020 there was one incident. So government, with the support of private player, came up with the MPEDA. I will tell you what exactly the role of the MPEDA. But these are the business level. Even the export is difficult, even the domestic market is limited, and processing is limited. So these are the issues when the farmer, larger or middle fishery farmer, want to make something for the from the fisheries. Okay, now what we can do? Farmer level, we can provide the financial support. How? In 2025, government of India has enhanced Kisan Credit KCC limit, Kisan credit card limit from 3 lakh to 5 lakh. This is one of the dimension, okay, at a farmer level. Then we have the concept of group farming. This is in agriculture farming. Same concept farmer can implement in fishery sector, and fishery farmers can make their cooperatives. That is farmer producer organizations, APOs. Government of India is supporting through agriculture societies around 13K FPOs. These FPOs will help or eliminate the issues what the individual small fishery farmers are facing. So farmer producers organization is one of the choice at a farmer level. Farmers can do cooperative farming, first one. Then the credit facility through this KCC. Another channel is there, that is priority sector lending. If you see, just a minute. If you see the priority sector lending, PSL norms, 40%, in that 80% is for agriculture. Agriculture is not only related to farm. I have already mentioned this. Agriculture includes many things, farm and non-farm activities. So this 80%, there is an opportunity where bank can lend money to farmer producer organization and individual farmers also. So this can be done at a farmer level. Okay. Then at a government level, what government can do? Government level, what government can do? First is cold storage facilities. Government is providing through the Marine Export Promotion Authority of India, promoting the cold storage facility, and we have Warehousing Act 2008, which provide 2008 13 something warehouses. Government provides the warehouses. Then if you remember, we have the scheme of mega food parks. Mega food parks, around 61 parks are developed. That parks can be used as a storage facility for the fishery farmers. So these at the government can promote fishery farmers to store their instead of the distress sale of fishers. Okay. Now come to the business level. What we can do? We have to diversify market. Because of this Donald Trump tariff, our fishery is one of the sector which has impacted a lot. So what we can do? We have to diversify the market. We have how we can diversify? West Asia, Central Asian republics, UK. We have recently trade free trade agreement with UK. So there is one or more opportunity, and even in the EU bloc also, we are about to reach the agreement with EU. So West Asia, where the demand for the fishery is high, we can sell our farm fisheries production. We can diversify our fishery sector towards fishery sale to West Asia. Okay. The next one is Central Asian republics. Central Asian republics also demand, and this will increase not only the bilateral relationship, but there is very high demand of fishery and meat products in the Central Asian republics. The another one is UK and European Union. Okay, so we have to diversify our market, and this can be done by various support government is doing for the export. Then government has duties government has reduced, exempted from the farmer, even the government under the rodotap scheme. This is kind of the export support scheme to farmers. Even government has special authority on the MPD, Marine Producer Export Authority, Development Authority of India. Okay, it has special role to promote the export and explore the market for marine products in India to outside abroad. Okay, this is overall discussion surrounded by the marine fishery sector. We have got, and fishery is a part of agriculture. Agriculture activities comes under two, farm and non-farm. So fishery sector comes under non-farm activities. And this UPSC has asked question in 2025 about the non-farm activities. Okay, now this is conclusion. What exactly come to main? What exactly the prelims question will come? This is aquaculture biofloc technology. As I already read the text about, the first is it recycles nutrient in water using the beneficial microbes. This is a simple technology where this is microorganism. This is aquaculture where some proteinous feeds are given, and this proteinous feed are filtrated by microorganisms, by microbes, and this has ready-made protein provided to the fishes. Okay, this is a biofloc technology. If you remember, in 2022 prelims, biorock technology is related with, this was a prelims question. So there is possibility that biofloc technology can be asked even in 2023. Biofilm, this is very too much. This biofilm is biofilters are used, biofilms asked in 2023, and that was related to the RSA, recirculated aquaculture system. So UPSC has asked question and had asked question in the earlier on in prelims also and mains also. 2025 mains is best example on the fishery sector. So fishery sector is very important as a broader part of agriculture sector is a part of GS3. This is a link we have to establish. So what, let's read this question. It recycles the nutrient in water using the beneficial microbes. It forms biofloc which act as a natural feed and cleans water. It recycles nutrient water using the beneficial microbes. As I have explained the microorganism there. So this statement seems correct. And the second approach to how to approach the questions is see the questions. If see the statement, there are four kind of statement in the prelims. First one is general statement. Extreme statement, factual statement, and relevant statement. If you analyze any of UPSC statement given in the question, either that will be general, either that will be the extreme, either that will be the factual or relevant. Now, general statement, 60 to 70% chances are it is correct. It recycled nutrient in using beneficial microbe. This is a general statement. They are not saying the particular what quantity of microorganism it is used by, nothing though. So this statement seems correct. Now come to the extreme statement. Okay, if you see this statement, suitable for marine fisheries and not for fresh ponds. So this statement comes under category number 2. In this, 60 to 70% statement are incorrect. This does not applies to quality questions because only all these are exceptions to the quality questions. So extreme statement. Now come to the factual statement. I haven't mentioned any statement here about factual, but see, it requires a little water exchange supporting high density farming. Little subjectivity is there. So such kind of words will give you hint how to consider the statement is correct or incorrect. So this is the best. It requires little. We don't know, and if court asks UPSC to justify, UPSC has to give such kind of statement correct. So this statement come as correct category, and this is relevant. This statement comes under relevant, but factual, I haven't mentioned any statement here factually, but certain times UPSC used to mention 20%, 30 exact data. Most of the time, if in any question, if data is given twice or thrice, consider 2025 Kho question, 2025 Kho World Cup question. What UPSC did? UPSC gave everything correct except the two. How many point difference? They change with the man team with woman. This is, and that makes the statement incorrect. So most of the time, if UPSC has given two or more facts, might be one is the fact, one of the fact is incorrect. When we are going to explain, means taking, we'll take the explanation on our prelims test series. Then we will discuss this in depth. But my point is this: this is the basic. It recycles the nutrient using the beneficial. It forms the biofloc, act as a natural feed and cleans water. It is not only suitable for the marine fisheries and not okay. It is only suitable for this. So this statement is incorrect. This is correct. This is correct. This is correct. Okay. Now answer already we discussed. Mains question. Contribution of Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. How to write? Intro. Start with this only 5 years anniversary. Body part, contribution. Contribution may be in the domain of the empowerment, in the domain of infrastructure development, in the domain of support system, in the domain of scientific research, in the domain of cooperative fisheries, in the domain of international export, in the domain of market development, in the domain of warehousing development, in the domain of waterways development. These are the exactly contribution, but still even they have specifically mentioned how enhancing the production, livelihood and sustainability. Environmental sustainability you can discuss, then the economic sustainability you can discuss, social sustainability also you can, in the livelihood you can discuss with women, you can do women fishery farmers, then you can discuss about the small marginal fishery farmers, then you can discuss about the larger farmers, availability of market. So overall, but still you have to discuss certain issues, 4 to 5 points are the issues, what exactly the issues at a individual fishery farmer level, in the business level and the government level, and then you have to suggest certain ways with your miss some data or some facts. Okay, so this will be the your approach for this question, and mark my words, try to make the solution based approach for the any kind of question. So we have finally come up with our final point. This is mains question. Now I want to discuss with you one point, that is our mains mentorship programming and prelims mentorship programming. We have launched the Sankalp Sarthi comprehensive integrated mains, prelims and exclusively for the forest and exclusively for the CSE mains mentorship plus integrated mentorship programming. If any one of you is interested to join this mains mentorship programming, they can contact to our team and they can easily get enrolled. The mentorship programming, as yesterday also I have discussed, there are 4 pillars: procedure, following the procedure, we will give you particular timetable, and your day by day, hour by hour is planned by our team only, and there will be third party analysis of that programming, what the programming and what are your achievements at the end of the day. There are, we are going to ask you what exactly, where you have to live, why you are lagging behind the targets and everything. Okay, so do join, do see this mentorship brochure and do join this particular Sankalp Sarthi mentorship programming. I personally will assure you, if you join the mains mentorship program or means completely Sankalp Sarthi mentorship program, you will get 3-digit marks in the prelims and 3-digit marks in the mains each and every paper. Okay, so that's it from my side for today's. We have covered Nepal issue, we have covered infrastructure revolution in India, and finally the agriculture, that too particularly fishery within the PM Matsya Sampada Yojana's 5 years and its contribution for the farm sector and its overall contribution of the fishery sector. Okay, fishery sector and fishery sector's contribution to India's economic growth. So we have covered 3 topics, and I hope you understood all 3 topics. If you have any query regarding the Sankalp Sarthi mentorship program or the current affairs topic, do mail us or do contact us. We provided you the contact numbers. Contact numbers are available, and the notes of these topics are attached with the links given in the below. Okay, so thanks for your patience. Bye. Jai Hind.